Ho, ho, ho!
Hey, Santa! Looky here!
Oh, it's Richie Rich's Christmas Wish!
Find out what everyone's favorite rich kid is wishing for.
Richie!
When The Boy with the Toys returns in the sequel to Macaulay Culkin's box office smash.
Precisely!
It's a brand new holiday movie filled with glorious gadgets and incredible toys.
The wishing machine!
Pretty awesome, huh, Cadbury?
Join Richie Rich along with his faithful butler, Cadbury.
Ho, ho, ho!
His pals, Freckles, Pee-wee, Gloria.
Cool!
And his devoted dog, Dollar. Richie Rich's Christmas Wish, coming to video this holiday season from Warner Brothers Family Entertainment.
Merry Christmas, everybody!
Welcome, one and all, to a special Christmas episode of Escape from Walt Disney, the podcast where we review movies, TV shows, and short films available on the Disney Plus streaming service, chosen mostly completely at random. I am your host, Tony Goldmark. Joining us today via Zoom, all the way from Anaheim, California, David Ganssle.
I can't believe you did while you were sleeping without me.
All the way from Cumberland, Rhode Island, Randee Martin.
I lived!
And calling us from an undisclosed location, you might remember him from last year's Christmas episode on 'Twas the Night, ladies and gentlemen, Carl Featherbottom.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, everyone!
For those who didn't listen to the 'Twas the Night episode, Carl at first claimed to be Santa Claus, but really he's a 12-year-old boy, though I guess he'd be 13 now, huh? Because a whole year has passed.
Well, I'm actually 55 now.
Did you fall into a time loop or something?
No, 2020 just severely aged me.
Ah, I get you.
I feel that.
I would say he was a deep-voiced 12-year-old. Now he's actually a very normally voiced 55-year-old. He got sent to juvenile hall for assaulting a hot dog vendor, but he escaped, and he may or may not also be from outer space. So, how's life been treating you for the last year, Carl?
Oh, you know, same old stuff, different day. I was at Costco panic buying for the pandemic, and I ran into America's sweetheart, Tim Allen.
The Tim Allen? Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty neat, and so,
Is he nice in person? I've heard conflicting reports.
Well, he seemed kind of annoyed that I was bugging him, but whatever. Anyways, I pulled him aside, and I said, "Hey, Tim, have you ever seen this comedy special? It's really great. It's one of my favorites. It's Disney's Geppetto, starring Drew Carey."
Ah, yes, Geppetto. I talked about that about a year ago in a Stealing Focus video with Emily Clark.
Okay. I'm gonna steal the focus again just right now. I pulled him aside to an aisleway, and I forced him to watch Geppetto.
What, like on your phone?
Yeah,
or?
it was on my phone. And would you believe it? He died.
What?
He died watching it.
How did he die? Did he just collapse right there in the Costco?
Well, as soon as Drew Carey started singing, he just toppled over.
Wow, no wonder they're replacing him with Chris Evans.
My question is, if Tim Allen died just from hearing Drew Carey sing, did they not hear each other sing at all when they were working together on Superstar Limo?
I don't have the answer to that.
It wasn't really a singing job.
It was just kind of a ugly animatronic job.
Superstar Limo is kind of like the black cauldron of the Disney parks. There's no musicals and it's an abortion.
Can you really say they worked together on that? I think they both just signed off to have animatronics made of them. I mean, it's not like Obama actually met Calvin Coolidge when he did the Hall of Presidents.
But he did in my fan fiction.
Fair enough. Now, Carl, while this was happening, were you still on the run from the law, or did you sort all that out?
Well, I sorted all that out. You see, Rudy Giuliani is my lawyer.
The former mayor of New York?
He's a great lawyer, the best in the business.
Very cool. What's he up to these days?
He's having COVID right now.
Well, of course, I gave it to him.
Popular gift this year.
Anyways.
So now you're on the run from the law all over again, because you just killed a man.
Well, no, nobody knows, because...
Well, they'll know now that we've said it on the podcast.
You see, Tim Allen was wearing a Santa suit.
Oh, he was.
And so, you know...
So wait, does that mean you're Santa now?
Well, I was getting to that, so that's why I am 55 years old now. I took up the suit and I put it on, and the next thing I know, I'm Santa Claus.
Why would you remove a dead man's clothing and wear it? That's so weird.
Hey guys, Tim Allen's corpse is in my closet.
Oh yeah, I put him there.
Well, You brought him to Rhode Island and put him in my closet?
Well, it's an early Christmas present.
The acclaimed star of Joe Somebody is lying dead in Randy's closet?
I wanted seat covers. I specifically asked for seat covers, and you gave me the corpse of Tim Allen?
Well, you were on the naughty list, so you know.
That fits. She's pretty naughty. So last year you were pretending to be Santa Claus, and now you really are Santa Claus.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is this what they mean when they say life imitates art?
Yeah, it's strangely poetic and beautiful.
Isn't this what Jeff Goldblum was talking about in Jurassic Park?
Yes, this perfectly exemplifies the chaos theory.
Well, John Hammond was Santa Claus, so that
that's
makes
true.
sense.
Carl creates Santa Claus. Carl destroys Santa Claus. Carl becomes Santa Claus. Woman inherits the earth.
I would like to state a public apology to the hot dog vendor that I cursed out a few years ago and sent me to juvenile hall. As
It's
Santa.
alright, I forgive you.
That was you?
Yeah.
Randy, you were the hot dog vendor?
You didn't know that?
I'm so sorry.
Micah Hirsch's animation of that incident drew you really inaccurately.
Yeah, he's gonna have to change it.
That's kind of how I looked before I Michael Jacksoned myself.
Well, at any rate, it's such an honor to have the real Santa Claus on this show. I mean, I imagine this must be a very busy time of year for you.
I'm just letting the elves do most of the work.
So as Santa Claus, you might have some special insight on the movie we're covering this week, Richie Rich's Christmas Wish.
Yes.
This is a direct-to-video sequel to the 1994 Richie Rich movie, which is not on Disney+, but the direct-to-video sequel they made without Macaulay Culkin is. What is everyone's connection to the whole Richie Rich franchise? Have you ever seen this direct-to-video? Have you seen the 1994 movie? Have you ever read the comics or seen any of the other Richie Rich paraphernalia?
I read the comics a fair bit as a kid, and at some point or another I saw the 1994 movie. I saw the trailer for this on the VHS for Quest for Camelot or something. It was some Warner Brothers movie. So I was trying to figure out why this is on Disney+. I'm looking at Wikipedia. Apparently, this was produced by Saban Entertainment.
Oh, of course.
Which was later acquired by Disney. But what's weird is that Harvey, the company that created the Richie Rich comics, was acquired by DreamWorks, which is now owned by Universal. So there's like 3 megacorps with their hands in this weird direct-to-video movie.
I watched the animated series on Boomerang, but other than that, not much.
I remember watching a little bit of this film on ABC Family's 25 Days of Christmas. Long time ago. And I remember there was a vampire or something in it.
There was a vampire in this movie?
Sure, why not?
Maybe I'm imagining that. I don't know. My biggest connection with Richie Rich is there's, I believe, a Simpsons episode where Lisa realizes that Richie Rich and Casper are the same exact design.
I think Casper's the ghost of Richie Rich. Hey, they do look alike. I wonder how Richie died. Perhaps he realized how hollow the pursuit of money is and took his own life.
So that's really all I know, other than he's Richie Rich.
I'm not terribly up on my Richie Rich lore, as it were. I read the comics and saw the animated series once or twice as a kid, and I definitely saw the Macaulay Culkin movie in theaters just because I was a big Macaulay Culkin fan. I remember almost nothing about it, except that there was a clever twist at the end where the villain's trying to get Richie Rich's parents to, like, open their safe where all their money's supposed to be, but instead the safe just contains all their family heirlooms and shit that are worthless except to them. And the villain's like, well, where's all your money? And they're like, in banks. Do you think we just keep all our money in a big safe? Who does that? But I've never even heard of this direct-to-video holiday movie until Disney Plus launched, and I noticed it was available to watch. I guess this exists.
It's kind of funny, though, that they have the sequel to Richie Rich, but not Richie Rich.
I mean, Disney doesn't own Richie Rich. I think that's still owned by Warner Brothers. That's probably on HBO Max.
I actually might check to see if it is.
One thing I'm noticing about the cast, just perusing this on Wikipedia, Richard Rich and Regina Rich, who I assume are Richie Rich's parents, are played by Martin Mull and Leslie Ann Warren.
I saw that.
So it's a Clue reunion.
This has the Clue reunion play the parents before Community did the same thing.
So does that mean Britta is Richie Rich's sister?
Britta is the alternate universe Richie Rich who gave up all the money in the pursuit of performative wokeness.
Oh, she's one of those. Okay.
By the way, Richie Rich is not on HBO Max.
Oh.
Aww.
How bad is this movie going to be?
Pretty bad from the looks of it. Let's read the description here on Disney Plus.
Oh no.
A wishing machine. So there's a wishing machine in this movie. Transports Richie Rich to an alternate universe where his mischievous cousin Reggie Van Doe is the master of the house. Are they doing like an It's a Wonderful Life riff?
I have to imagine.
It's a wonderful life, Richie Rich.
I hope this goes full into the Spider-Verse with it. 1%ers from all across time and space.
So Richie's gonna jump off a building?
I hope so. That would be awesome.
I hope it goes to the entire Harvey Comics multiverse so we get Casper and Wendy and Baby Huey and all of them.
Wasn't Sabrina in the Harvey universe? Or was that Archie?
Sabrina was Archie.
Her boyfriend was named Harvey. Never mind.
That's what's confusing about it.
Harvey, like the rabbit?
No, like the Wonder Hamster.
Sabrina and Sonic the Hedgehog are in the same universe comic-wise, and yes,
Really?
there is a crossover comic involving Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, on TV, they did a brief crossover cameo between Sabrina and Boy Meets World. And Boy Meets World is on Disney Plus, which means there's a few minutes of Sabrina on Disney Plus. Which also means they're connected to Step by Step and Family Matters and everything in the Tommy Westphall universe.
So that pretty much means Sonic the Hedgehog also exists in all these universes.
I guess so.
So there's our Jaleel White
Yeah.
connection right there.
But the Archie Comics universe also crossed over with the Punisher, which means they cross over with the Marvel universe as well.
Oh, God.
So you're telling me that the Sonic the Hedgehog movie was actually part of the MCU?
I can't imagine what else we possibly could be telling you.
Everything is part of the MCU.
How deep does it go?
And who played the principal on Sabrina? Martin Mull. Who plays the dad in this movie? It's all connected, man.
It's all connected.
Where does Shrek handle into all this?
Shrek was a dream.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
We have to watch a movie, don't we?
Yes.
Eventually, at some point, we do. We will be right back, whether we like it or not, with our thoughts on Richie Rich's Christmas Wish, right here on Escape from Walt Disney.
God help us, everyone.
Come on home. See what's waiting for you. Waiting for you.
Okay, we just saw Richie Rich's Christmas Wish. That was dangerously 90s. That might be the most 90s kids entertainment thing I've ever seen, right down to all the shitty 90s video green screen and the bad CGI. And
Return of the Jedi had the excuse of being in 1983. Any scene with the chroma key, especially when they were like on the sleds.
those stupid Christmas go-karts.
All I could think about was the fucking forest scene on the bikes from
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi.
A surprisingly interesting cast.
Yeah, not a single cast member from the 94 Macaulay Culkin film reprised their role, but some of the actors they got in this one were actually more famous than their 94 counterparts. Like, the professor in the original was played by Michael McShane, and here he's Eugene Levy. And nothing against Michael McShane, but I'd say Eugene Levy's a much bigger name.
This was back when Eugene Levy just said yes to everything between Christopher Guest movies, because he didn't have the
Right.
American Pie sequels to ride off of yet.
That's right. And the dad in the original was Edward Herman, whereas here he's Martin Mull, and I think Martin Mull's more of a name there. Also, one of Richie's friends is Michelle Trachtenberg.
Yeah.
And this was after Harriet the Spy, so she didn't need to do this, you'd think.
Meanwhile, the actors who played the other two friends don't even have Wikipedia pages, but Michelle Trachtenberg...
One of them, the redheaded boy, is from Little Rascals. He's one of the bullies.
Oh, yeah.
I recognized him right away.
Thanks, Santa.
You're welcome. I know everyone.
The main kid who plays Richie is also the kid in Seventh Heaven.
Oh,
And he is the voice of Riku in the Kingdom Hearts series.
that's right, Riku.
I knew it.
That's not the only Seventh Heaven connection here. The kid who plays Reggie, the villain, was the troubled kid in the Gun episode.
I gotta say, I kinda loved Reggie. Like, at first he was just a stereotypical bratty kid, and he was annoying. But the more and more evil he got as the movie progressed, the moment I fell in love with him was when Michelle Trachtenberg's watching the news, and Reggie just bursts into the newsroom and pushes the anchor off his chair. Find this kid! It's like, okay, I love Reggie now. If you have any information, call the Reggie hotline. It costs $2.95 for the first minute, $1.95 for... That's a solid joke. I want to see a whole movie of him just doing increasingly evil shit. I love this kid.
Reggie really reminds me of the antagonist kid from Shark Boy and Lava Girl in that you can tell the child actor is just having a fucking blast being a total dick.
And by the way, it makes sense that he's a fascist because his mom is played by Marla Maples, Trump's second wife.
No.
I was gonna say.
Mother of Tiffany.
The fucking ex-wife of technically our current president until January 20th.
So that's another Little Rascals connection.
Yes!
My God.
It's all connected, man.
Trump really is just Reggie.
And this was while she was married to him. That's fucking bonkers.
Are you telling me Donald Trump saw his wife being in this movie, saw Reggie, and said, I think I know what I want to do now?
Yes! Oh my God!
Well, he kept demanding candy. The dinner table scene, I was like, is this what a White House Christmas Eve currently looks like?
Trump got the idea for his entire presidency from this fucking movie. Holy shit. Do we have any proof he doesn't have a wish machine? That he just used to wish for enough electoral points? My God.
The wishing machine in the film at one point vomits out a pigsty.
Yeah.
It looks like diarrhea.
So this machine can create life.
Yeah, it created pigs.
This stupid fucking wish machine.
The screenwriter's first instinct was, I wish for a big pie.
And instead it gives him a pigsty. Wah wah.
When it started spitting out mud and it looked like shit, at first I thought the gag was gonna be, well, you did get a big pie, a big cow pie. But apparently this movie was slightly classier than that.
So the machine mishears him the first time. And
But then it never mishears anybody again.
Then it hears him perfectly when he's quietly whispering to himself about wishing he was never born.
So yeah, this film is an It's a Wonderful Life parody, which, you know, all these years I've been watching It's a Wonderful Life every Christmas Eve as an annual tradition, and every time I always think, you know, it's good, but it could really use more dinosaur museum heists and flying children.
Yeah, it's great, but it really needs the Seventh Heaven cast in it.
It does.
It needs more Eugene Levy doing his best discount Doc Brown impersonation.
It needs that one guy from Office Space doing some uncoordinated Keystone Cops shtick.
I mean, what the fuck, Capra? You let us all down.
Tell me this, why does the rich family house look like the Stanley Hotel from The Shining? How many windows are there?
Reggie kind of looks like Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
It kind of does, yeah.
And there were 3 little pigs at one point.
Yeah, there were, yeah. The interiors of the house looked like a hotel, too. And not even like a particularly fancy hotel, but just an old hotel that used to be fancy. Like, there's just pillars everywhere for no reason.
It looks like an old folks' home.
Every time it showed Martin Mull and Leslie Ann Warren walking around this fucking hotel mansion, I kept expecting Wadsworth to run into frame and tell them to get back to searching the house.
I just looked it up. It's actually a hotel in Pasadena, California.
Of course it is.
Really?
All right, well, I am off to Pasadena then.
The interior lobby is actually an abandoned bank in downtown Los Angeles.
Oh, that makes sense.
I am honest to God surprised that this production could afford to shoot in Southern California, because for those who don't know, it's actually really expensive to shoot a movie here, even though this is where Hollywood is.
Especially a movie with so much fake snow.
Yeah, there's literally no reason not to shoot this in Vancouver for the tax breaks, especially considering how notoriously cheap Saban is, but what do I know? I didn't create Power Rangers.
I wonder how much they made off of this.
Probably not much, because they never did another one.
Aside from the recognizable actors, most of the money in this movie went to, like, the 2 car crashes that happen.
This is one of the very few direct-to-video movies on Disney Plus, at least that I've seen, to actually be presented in its original aspect ratio.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Holy shit.
This was actually presented in 1:3:3 as opposed to crop for 1:8:5, but honestly, I attribute that to them clearly not bothering to upgrade this to HD.
Yeah.
The video quality just looked like ass.
Not worth it.
I'm going to guess they did not have a higher quality transfer to work with.
Which begs the question, why even put this on?
I feel like Disney was really weirdly prioritizing things they didn't produce that other companies still have some sort of a stake in so that they could draw attention away from any other streaming service that might put the original Richie Rich movie on.
Even though it apparently didn't.
Let's get the rights to Richie Rich and not the original run of The Muppet Show.
One note I have about the wishing machine, I think it's just a clothes dryer.
Oh, yeah.
With wires.
Well, it's a washing machine. Wishing machine, washing machine, you know.
Super lazy.
Didn't Sonic the Hedgehog tell us specifically not to fuck around with those?
Right, yeah, he did.
Believe it or not, every year some ignorant kid takes a ride in a clothes dryer just like this one. and ends up getting hurt.
Yeah, but Sonic's in the Archie universe, not in the Harvey universe, so it doesn't matter.
Without Sonic the Hedgehog around, kids were just climbing in dryers left and right.
But you know what? Eugene Levy just wished that Sonic didn't say that.
There we go.
So the wishing machine only works on Christmas Eve. Can you wish for the wishing machine to work on days other than Christmas Eve? Like, why didn't anyone think of that?
Why Christmas Eve, though? I don't get the logic of all the children are wishing today.
I mean, are they? Didn't they make their Christmas list weeks ago?
Months ago, yeah. I get letters in January.
You know what? I guess it kind of makes sense, because I was definitely doing a lot of wishing on election night, long after I'd cast my vote, so...
We were at Christmas Town, too.
What about birthdays? Every day is someone's birthday. I'm sure someone's wishing.
Well, that's just it. It's always someone's birthday, but it's never everyone's birthday. Everyone celebrates Christmas at the same time, so I can't believe I'm defending the stupid gobbledygook.
Look, it's very simple. Christmas Eve is when the Wish-a-chlorians all converge in a single moment.
Oh, and the source of power for this stupid wish machine, its flux capacitor, if you will, is this giant wishbone.
The wishbone of a fictional dinosaur.
Fucking dinosaur. I have so many questions about the science behind that wish machine.
So did Cadbury.
When Dollar, the fucking dog, brought the wishbone over to the jail cell, and they didn't have the machine, I thought it was gonna be some contrived cliche where it's like, we don't need the machine. The dinosaur phone is magic enough. And they didn't, and I was really glad they didn't.
I was disappointed they didn't. I was expecting it myself.
Instead, they just start to do a Pirates of the Caribbean reference, but then stop short.
I gotta talk about the dog for a minute. I want to know what horrifying, disgusting, unethical breeding practices went on at the rich puppy mill to get a dog whose coat has dollar signs on it.
Dollar signs on the fucking dog.
The fucking rich family puppy mill just cranked out puppies until that came out.
It took me an hour and 12 minutes to realize the dog was covered in dollar signs. How are they that rich? Where did they get their money from? Is he an investment banker? Is he
I feel like he might be doing some Pablo Escobar shit to get this money.
Probably. I mean, the dichotomy of the two different rich families in this movie is so fascinating to parse because it runs on the logic that a lot of fucking movies produced in our capitalist hellhole work, in which there's a nice rich person and there's a mean rich person. It's not that wealth inherently corrupts you. No. It's that some people are just assholes. And yeah, that's partially true as well, but it's like, how much better were the riches really? I mean, let's be real. In the main universe that Richie Rich came from, there's just as many people suffering, but they're off in the third world or something.
They just weren't overrunning the universal backlot like they were in the alternate universe.
One thing I noticed at the beginning of the movie, there's just people around the house who just hold things. The rich family is just using live human beings as coat hangers and shelves. And then in the living room, there's people just fucking standing there like statues. They look so dead inside. What are they doing to these people?
It strains credulity that all the other kids in this town don't just detest Richie with every fiber of their being.
He has working class friends.
And he comes to the conclusion in the alternate universe, oh, they only liked me for my money. And I mean,
no shit.
Yeah,
probably.
That and that he didn't talk like an insane person.
Yeah, he comes to that conclusion based on the fact that they don't immediately like him after meeting him for the first time ever.
Right.
Maybe they liked you because they knew you and you didn't just barge it. That said, I did love how fucking stoked he was when he realized his wish worked. I like that they didn't do the thing in typical It's a Wonderful Life stories where they spend so long not understanding that nobody knows them.
Right.
The second he realized that nobody knows him, he's like, oh, fucking rad, it worked.
For a brief moment, I want to question the logic behind the mom and dad cam.
Yes, I have notes about this as well.
At any time of the day, Richie Rich says, computer, mom and dad cam, or something like that. And he could see his parents and hear what they're talking about.
We need to spy on mom and dad to find out what they want for Christmas. Which, by the way, is a plot thread that never gets resolved.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, he never does get a present for them.
It's generous to call it a plot thread anyway.
The spy thing, it's literally just one of those old Atari computer keyboards with a random Nintendo 64 controller next to it.
Yep.
And somehow that's a spy cam? What does he need the keyboard for?
So he spies on them with the camera, but then just goes over to the room they're in anyway, and does a bad job hiding, and then just stands up and says, Mom, Dad, what do you want for Christmas? So why the spying?
Because it costs money and they don't know what else to do with all their money.
Gotta put the Nintendo product placement somewhere.
Early on, Richie's defining character trait seems to be he gives up on hiding really quickly. There are several moments where he's hiding from someone and then just stands up and says, no, you can't do that. After Richie ruins Christmas for everyone because Reggie uses the remote to override the sleigh and it's nonsense.
Oh, he ruined Richie's self-aggrandizing photo op. That was mean of him.
Then Richie spies on what his parents are saying about him, and they're saying, Richie ruined Christmas. And he walks away, and they're like, how can people be saying that Richie ruined Christmas? It's the whole wacky misunderstanding that is very clunkily delivered.
How come everyone turns on him so fast?
Well, because he fucked up the town. The presents fucking went over a cliff.
This clearly has happened before.
By the way, they're rich. They can easily buy the orphans new presents. It's not that big a deal.
Another thing I noticed about that scene is how the butler twists his ankle and Richie's like, stay here, I'll get help. He never does.
No!
Nope.
He leaves him there to die.
Well, because Cadbury says, no, take care of those kids.
But then he doesn't take care of the kids either.
By the time he gets there, the Van Does are already spinning the story.
He's too busy spying on everybody, talking about how he ruined Christmas. And then he just goes into the lab to mope as if there's not a dying man out there who is also a witness to what happened, who could easily say this wasn't Richie's fault, he lost control.
The rich family is in trouble because they let a minor drive a modified car on the streets, which caused thousands of dollars in damage and loss.
Yeah, but they can buy their way out of any trouble.
But I thought they were good people. I thought they're the good rich.
I mean, they got the okay from Officer Office Space, so it's all fine.
Officer Space!
They actually had like a fucking cop there.
Yeah, that was weird.
This kid's driving a modified vehicle without a license, and the cop's like, oh, I trust you, it's okay.
That's some nice reckless driving, Mr. R. I mean, points for accuracy on the cops in this movie just being a tool for the rich.
Yep.
There was a moment where the sleigh is going by, and Cadbury and Richie are clearly cardboard cutouts.
Really?
I don't know if anyone else caught that. It was for a split second, I could swear.
I think it might have just been really bad CGI.
I'd like to think it was the cardboard.
You know, the woman who runs the orphanage is played by Kathleen Freeman, who played the nun in the Blues Brothers, so
Oh, shit.
she's fine. Jake and Elwood will just deliver the money for the orphans' presents.
And at least they'll provide us with a charming musical number, you know?
Yeah.
We're on a mission from Santa.
Yes, they are.
So many, recognizable faces in this movie, even down to, there's one shot when Reggie's in control where one of his butlers is Michael McDonald from Mad TV.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there you are, not saying any lines.
Now, you, Santa, did not appear in this film, although there were a couple
No,
people...
I did.
Oh, who did you play?
I was in the dumpster. Remember?
Oh, that was you.
That was really you?
Oh, yeah.
That's when I was 8 years old. So yeah, this was a while
That's
ago.
what you looked like at 8 years old?
Yeah, this was a long time ago. This was 1998.
Gotcha.
Wait a minute, so you were born in 1990 if you were 8 years old in 98.
Yes.
So that would make you 30 or 29 last year, so why'd you say you were 12?
You see, Professor Keenbean and I, we go way back.
Oh, I see.
And I made a wish on the wishing machine.
Does Keenbean come from the same planet as you?
Yeah.
Did you do all of this just to get a discount at the local zoo?
Yeah. I love zebras.
I gotta agree with that.
Zebras are pretty awesome, I'll give you that.
But yes, I was in this film. It was a great time. I was on set for about an hour.
Nice.
And I actually wasn't hired to be in the movie. I was literally living in the dumpster.
Randy's got some experience going through dumpsters. If you heard the Channel KRT episode on the Weird Al Show, quite a bit of her end of that episode was recorded live in a dumpster in Chicago.
Oh.
Did you have any luck with that, by the way?
Well, I died.
Oh, yeah.
I think they thought my body was a mannequin and they just kind of threw it in the lake, but I was saved by a mermaid, which brought me back to Rhode Island.
Oh, nice.
I thought things were going to go further, but we just had separate goals, and now I'm here.
Okay.
This is logic I can get behind.
Speaking of logic, I am very confused about the logistics of the alternate universe in this movie.
Me too.
So Richie Rich wasn't born How does that lead to Reggie suing his parents? What's the cause and effect there? And how does it lead to that band not writing their one big hit?
Yeah.
This is like the movie Yesterday levels of arbitrary, convoluted timeline bullshit.
That band did not write their only hit,
No.
but they still were playing a sold-out show.
In a slum. These people are all poor and destitute, but they can all afford concert tickets? And also, they're not signed to a label. They have to get signed to a label at the... Which, by the way, that Deus Ex Machina where they come in and bail them all out of prison, that was so needlessly convoluted. When fucking Cadbury says, well, how could you afford it? They could have just said, we're rich rock stars. Fucking duh. But instead it's like, oh, we played that song the kid taught us to a record label guy who we got to in this small town on Christmas Eve somehow. And then he signed us right away.
In one day. One day.
Less than a day. I think that took like less than 2 hours.
They weren't signed already, but they're a British band clearly doing a tour in America, doing sold-out shows. Make it make sense.
Richie Rich just had that new sound they were looking for, so their
Yep.
cousin Marvin, whatever the band's name was.
Your cousin Marvin Root Canal.
Let's just say the logic of this film is on the naughty list.
So anyway, Richie's backstage at this band sound check, and he hides from the security guards by disguising himself as a rock star, and the security guard calls him Axel. Does he literally think he's talking to Axl Rose?
Well, can we talk about how meaningless the two blonde twins were?
They were there to flirt with him.
As he's leaving, they say, call us when you can stay up past 9 o'clock. Did they just groom him? What the
Did Dan Schneider direct this?
Yes, pretty sure he did.
No, it can't be Dan Schneider. There's not enough feet.
Oh, and one more thing about the band. They have the hair and clothes of a bad 80s hair metal band, so naturally they're playing a grunge song.
I'm changing over to my other face to find my way.
Also, in the alternate reality, Richie's parents have turned into this bickering married couple who just hate each other. So this is the one time in history when having a kid actually did save the marriage.
Yep.
That's how you know this is fiction.
Richie Rich was very confident that even in that timeline, Keen Bean still would have invented the wishing machine.
Oh yeah, even without the rich family resources.
There was one character we have not talked about yet, and I'm surprised we haven't. The scary, Return to Oz-esque robot maid.
The robot
like
maid!
it. I don't like it.
Here's the thing about that robot maid. I actually looked into this. That robot maid is a character from the comics and from the animated series. Not in the 94 film. Not in the Macaulay Culkin film, but in this sequel, they fucking brought her back because she was just so necessary to the plot, I guess.
There's no setup. We don't know who she is. We barely know her name.
She just randomly fucking shows up in one scene, and then in the evil universe, she breathes fire, and that's it.
And she has a Bride of Frankenstein haircut for some reason.
She's like Dot Matrix, but if you took away all the things that made her charming and likable and just made it scary.
I gotta clarify that. We're making Joan Rivers less likable and scarier.
Yes.
Speaking of Dot Matrix, one of Office Space Guy's assistant cops was one of the assholes from Spaceballs.
Oh, okay. How many assholes we got in this sequel, anyhow?
This was marketed as a sequel to the movie, but it wasn't written to be a sequel to the movie. It was just written to be a Richie Rich holiday special.
Yes, exactly.
There was that whole bit at the beginning where he's like, Richie, you have 3 conference calls and 2 public appearances before noon or something like that. Whose kid is this?
Well, this runs into the problem with not only Richie Rich, but any legacy character like this whose whole thing is being wealthy. It's very hard to make the richest person in the world relatable.
Right.
You have to give him something to be unhappy about. He's unhappy because he's too busy. I don't think as a kid I identified with the people who was like, I have too many meetings.
The entire existence of Richie Rich, no matter what medium, it's pretty much just a childhood power fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, as a kid, we all dreamed of being millionaires.
I can afford as much candy as I want.
You know, you have a robot maid to do all your chores. You have machines that get you dressed for you. You have parents that give you like $50,000 a week just to exist. And that's kind of the only real appeal of Richie Rich I can think of.
And I don't know exactly when Richie Rich was created. I'm gonna take a wild stab and say sometime in the 50s, because it just feels like such a 50s idea. World War II was over, the economy was booming, people were having more babies and settling down in the suburbs, which were popping up everywhere. The middle class was a lot more well off than they had been in previous decades, and more new products were emerging on the markets, and it was easier than ever to buy them. And coincidentally, who were we fighting now that the Nazis were defeated? The communists. And we wanted to prove we were different from the communists by reasserting our capitalism and saying money is good, actually. It's good to consume. It's good to want more things to consume. It's good to glorify wealth. Hey kids, see these comics about this little kid who's got a lot of money? Isn't he really cool and neato? You should aspire to be him. I mean, it was pretty much the same mentality that gave the world Scrooge McDuck, speaking of wealthy legacy characters, although at least Scrooge McDuck had the subversion of originally being devised as a villain. Scrooge McDuck was originally a villain in the Donald Duck comics, and he kind of makes more sense as one.
There is like a little Easter egg that shows the comic version of Richie Rich.
Yes, on his boxers.
Yeah!
I really don't like that the big Easter egg of the film is on a child's underpants.
No. God.
I don't like that that's where I have to look.
Even the good rich kid is such an egotist that he has himself on his own underwear.
I'm telling you, Richie Rich is not a nice person. He's just nicer than Reggie.
He's just not a dictator.
If Reggie is Trump, then Richie is a mainstream Republican.
Yeah.
Basically just as bad, just not as overt about it. I mean, yeah, sure, if I had to vote between the two, I'd vote for Richie, but it's a lesser of two evils thing.
So what you're saying is Richie Rich is actually Mitt Romney.
Absolutely. Mitt Romney is literally Richie Rich. That's his origin story.
Richie is what capitalism wants you to think it is.
Yes.
And Reggie is what it actually is.
You hit the nail right on the head. There's that one scene where Martin Mull is talking to Reggie's dad, played by Mr. Lipman from Seinfeld.
Yep.
Elaine's boss from the seasons where she worked in publishing. And he says,
"See, those labor costs are cutting into my bonuses. So when I realized that, I said, it's time to shut that place down. And I shut that factory down right away." Yep. How are things going at Richville Enterprise?
Oh, they couldn't be better. We just gave everyone an extra week's vacation.
I think that sets a bad precedent.
So again, good capitalist, bad capitalist, goofus and gallant. But here's the thing. At another point in the movie, they say the Rich family are the richest people in the world. I call bullshit, because Jeff Bezos did not become the richest motherfucker in the world by being nice to his employees.
Not at all.
Quite the opposite, in fact.
Santa, do you consider Jeff Bezos your competition?
You know, I actually used to work for Amazon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back when I was about 6.5.
Oh, so they broke child labor laws.
I was actually there when Amazon was founded. Jeff and we were good friends. It was my idea. Then he stole it all from me.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that.
That's how I ended up in the dumpster back in 98.
And you say you were 6, so that would have been 1996.
No, this would have been 2004.
Amazon was already a robust company by 2004.
So you did something in 2004 that led you to end up in a dumpster in 1998?
So you're just hopping through the space-time continuum completely at random then.
Well, I am from another planet, remember?
Of course, right,
yeah,
he is.
yeah.
Time doesn't work the same for him.
I age really weird. I have a weird voice. Sometimes I'm 12, sometimes I'm 90. Whatever.
Is your age controlled by the same randomizer that chose this movie for us?
Wait, are you the randomizer?
Perhaps so.
Oh my god.
But after all, isn't that what Christmas is all about?
You're the physical embodiment of the randomizer that we've been using for over a year now.
I really expected you to look way more like Katie Seagal.
Why did you make me watch Jack?
Because Bill Cosby is relevant.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Well, anyways.
So let's talk about the People's Republic of Reggievania, shall we? After Richie makes his wish and gets sucked into the machine, he wakes up in bed in the mansion, even though he doesn't live there in this universe. He goes into another room and closes the door behind him, and there's this propaganda poster with Reggie that says, "Reggie is watching you."
This one child somehow managed to turn an entire town into literally North Korea.
It's his serfdom.
This movie actually inspired North Korea to be the way it is today.
And the US government hasn't stepped in?
Of course not. Reggie's rich. Their hands are tied.
The police are dressed up like communist Soviet guards.
So I was more right than I thought. This really is anti-communist propaganda.
But the Soviet Union disbanded in 1991.
Oh yeah, back when I was 6. jokes. By the way, I did remember correctly, there was a vampire in this movie. If you look in Reggie's room, there are 2 vampire heads on either side of the doorway for some unbeknownst reason.
Oh, yeah.
And there's also clowns everywhere, too. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Clowns are just creepy.
Aside from the propaganda poster, the real clear visual signifier we get that we're in the evil universe with the bad billionaire in charge instead of the good billionaire in charge.
Right.
Is the house now has smokestacks that are just polluting for no apparent reason.
Yep.
Did he turn it into a factory? Nope. They're just there so he can pollute for funsies?
Apparently.
Like a Captain Planet villain?
They're there for aesthetic reasons.
It's part of the branding.
My favorite evil shot of Reggie is when he does that evil monologue about how he's canceling Christmas.
No Christmas lights, no Christmas turkey, no Christmas trip to Grandma's house, no Christmas, period. I need taffy!
The camera does this creepy Dutch angle on his face while the fire roars in the background. It's the stuff of nightmares.
Well, it's not a late 90s, early 2000s kids movie unless you have 50,000 Dutch angles.
And then there's the scene where Reggie's doing a Zoom call with the cops, and the camera is this fucking fisheye lens on Reggie, which makes him look even more distorted and evil.
He kind of looks like a young Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
He does, kinda.
Honestly, in the beginning, when he was just bratty, who he reminded me most of was the bully in that one Weird Al show episode.
Yeah, Huey.
Hey, you! That made Milli Vanilli look like Mozart. If I had that on tape, I'd tape over it.
Slight tangent, by the way, because I am apparently physically incapable of shutting the fuck up about the Weird Al show. Peyton Reed cast that child actor because he had previously played the villain in Peyton Reed's Disney Channel remake of the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes with Kirk Cameron.
Is that still not on Disney Plus yet?
Still not on Disney Plus. I know, it's a travesty.
One of these days.
Another amazing Reggie moment is after he finds out the protagonists have been bailed out of prison.
Made bail? How? Nobody in this town has that much money. I made sure of it before I said bail.
Yep, he's a rich guy, all right.
Are you suggesting that Reggie is this film's saving grace?
Yes.
Without question. He becomes so over-the-top evil. It's like in most Disney movies, the villain's the best part. It's no different here. Reggie is fucking amazing, at least by the end of it.
I would like to see a 3rd installment in this franchise where a grown-up Reggie is visited by 3 ghosts. But is first visited by the ghost of Cadbury in chains. I think that's a real original idea. No one's ever done it before.
No, not at all.
Not a single person.
I don't even
I've
know what
never
that
even
is.
heard of A Christmas Carol. What's that?
So towards the end of the movie, the wish machine falls into Reggie's hands and Reggie wishes he could fly. I was half expecting, and I would have loved it, if the machine had suddenly started running on monkey's paw logic, where he wishes he could fly and he turns into a fly and they just swat him. Speaking of which, I loved how when he's in midair, the other kids are just swatting at him with brooms.
He just takes it. Fly away. You can fly. Just, lift yourself up a little higher.
Oh, he's a masochist. He likes it.
I did love that once he wished to fly, he was just sort of casually flying the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Even when he sleeps, he's just sleeping and he's floating there.
Hovering above his bed like Dana in Ghostbusters.
And he tries to make a second wish after the dog steals the wishbone. He says, I wish I was king. You kind of already are.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about the bank scene.
The Bank of Reggie, which I fucking love.
Somehow the Bank of Reggie still has a more ethical business practice than Wells Fargo.
The teller recognizes Richie Rich based on the drawing on the wanted poster that doesn't really look anything like him.
The wanted poster looks like Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. And then we just get the slowest, carefulest, daintiest chaotic chase through the bank. It's trying to be this crazy slapstick moment, but it just does not have the speed or the choreography to pull it off.
There is one shot in the bank scene. It's not even a complicated shot. It doesn't look like it would have been tough to film, where it's just the security guards in the bank going, there he is, and pointing in a direction and then running off in that direction. And I swear to Christ, the security guards are green screened in there. I don't know why. I think they just realized in editing, oh shit, we need this shot here. And they couldn't afford to build the set all over again, so just green screen. Who cares?
I saw one scene when he was running around trying to get help after the sled crash. They fucking green screened Richie in the town.
Tommy Wiseau didn't have this much unnecessary green screen. Not that the necessary green screen looks any better, mind you, especially in Reggie's flying scenes.
It was typical terrible direct-to-video 90s flying effects.
He looked like he was getting Thanos away.
Well, I thought Reggie would use the machine to basically become Thanos. I mean, what is an infinity gauntlet if not a wishing machine, really?
My favorite line from Reggie is when he told Richie he should have gone for the head.
I mean, Infinity War and Endgame were both pretty good, but imagine if it had been Reggie instead of Thanos. Can't help but wonder what might have been.
Let's use the wishing machine and visit that universe to find out.
Let's do that. Santa, do you have the wishing machine ready?
Sorry, I was just texting my good friend Tommy Wiseau saying that you shouted him out on Escape from Walt Disney.
Oh, tell him we say hi.
Hey, he's in my house.
And tell him... What?
He's in my house.
What is he doing in your house?
Oh, hi, Tommy.
I don't know. I can hear him talking to my dog.
Well, it's not every day you meet a movie star. Hi, Tommy.
Oh, hi, Goldmark.
What is he doing in here?
I am in Randee's house.
Yeah, it's never easy to get a Tommy Wiseau out of your house. You know he can fly now. He used the wishing machine.
All right, I'll go get a broom.
You know, before they even get to the bank chase, there's the bit in the mansion with the security guard chasing Richie around, where the security guard's just standing there while Richie goes under a table, and the table's just miraculously rolling towards him, and he just keeps standing there. I wonder where this is going. Oh, kids escaped. And then the security guard tries going through the dog door and gets quote-unquote stuck, even though you can see there's plenty of room for him to just crawl through. He's not even remotely actually stuck in there. Saban.
I want to talk for a second about the museum heist.
Uh-huh.
When I arrived on planet Earth back in 1922, I was about 15 years old.
Sure.
I crash-landed right into that exact museum, the Los Angeles Museum of Natural History, which is clearly where they filmed.
Oh.
Believe it or not, I tried to rob that museum.
Oh.
And there were, in fact, the laser wires, and I did have a skateboard. But, you know, being the genius I am, I walked over the laser wires. I didn't make it harder for myself by riding a skateboard like the kids in the movie did.
The lasers are like so close to the ground.
Yeah.
Just walk over it.
You could just walk right over it.
This isn't fucking entrapment. There weren't that many lasers.
Exactly.
They were just like 3 on the ground.
And I loved how one wing of the museum is just labeled dinosaurs with an exclamation point. In neon.
Ah, the 90s.
The dinosaur they're pulling the wishbone from, the fictional dinosaur, I don't know what it was called, but
I forget.
It's so clearly out of place.
Yeah.
It so clearly is not a part of the museum. They just shoehorned it into a walkway and just said, that'll work. They couldn't just move out one of the statues? What was the thinking? What was the mind process? Tell me, Richie Rich, tell me.
I just remembered this is the second movie you've done on the podcast recently that has a museum heist, because you did The Great Muppet Caper.
That's right.
Oh shit, you're right.
That film is significantly better.
So here's a question. Does Michelle Trachtenberg's character have any parents? Because she's cooking her own Christmas dinner when that fucking news report comes on. And by the way, the show the news report interrupts is some sitcom, and all you hear from it is someone saying, "Not with your equipment!" Fucking laugh track.
There are quite a few instances and dialogue bits in this film that are unintentionally provocative.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
There were some homeless people around a trash can who talked about something being infected.
Oh, right, yeah.
It was probably me that gave it to him.
Just because I'm sick this way. When Richie Rich goes out into the fucking slum town and he encounters this kid going, "Hey, you got anything to eat?" I just wanted him to say, "Just this dog."
Oh my god.
Just this dog with the dollar signs on his fur.
When they're all in jail, they somehow do an even worse version of the things couldn't possibly get worse gag than Meet the Deedles did.
Yeah, because at least Meet the Deedles switched it up by making it snow. Here it's just, oh, the lights go out? Okay.
Things couldn't possibly get any worse. Lights out. Apparently that's worse. Even though it's not even that much darker.
You could still see them. There was still cinema lighting.
Oh no, a minor inconvenience.
So when Richie finally returns to his home universe, we find out that he was missing from it for several hours while he was in this alternate universe. So it wasn't a dream or a hallucination or anything. He actually traveled to another universe. So does that mean that that alternate universe still exists at the end? Like, Richie just goes back to his main universe, but that alternate universe continues as is, and shit is gonna keep getting worse and worse in it. That is the darkest timeline. Because Reggie doesn't die or anything. He doesn't get arrested. He doesn't face any repercussions at all, really, in either universe. Because even in the main universe, he still fucked up the sleigh.
The one repercussion he gets is the parents say, "Go to your room."
Yeah.
That really just does nothing.
He doesn't respect that. Why would he? They fucking work for him.
He's just gonna sue him again.
It's like if you took Donald Trump's parents, brought them back to life, and they said, Donnie, go to your room.
Yeah, exactly.
After all this shit.
If Fred Trump actually told him he loved him, a lot of this shit would have been avoided.
I actually knew Fred Trump.
Oh, did you? What was he like?
You can probably guess.
Racist?
Is there any truth to the urban legend that he was in the KKK?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Come on, no one's listening. You can tell us the truth.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So anyway, Richie returns to his universe. He does the big Merry Christmas Bedford Falls run through the town, in case you forgot what movie they were ripping off.
This uses so much shorthand just in terms of us knowing the story of It's a Wonderful Life. Every It's a Wonderful Life pastiche forgets how much of It's a Wonderful Life screen time is spent laying the groundwork.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
They don't even do the I wish I'd never been born thing until like the last half hour.
They lay the groundwork both for George getting to his breaking point and wishing he was never born, and for the audience actually seeing how George not being there would have changed the world in this way.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And this movie did neither of those.
Nope.
He just had one shitty day.
Well, if they do that, they wouldn't have time for dinosaur museum heists and flying fascist boys.
Flying Fascist Boys is actually my root canal tribute band.
I would pay to see money. I would pay good money to see George Bailey do a museum heist. I would pay to see money, too. You know?
Hello, I will give you $5 to show me $1.
I tripped over my beard. Anyways, the difference between George Bailey and Richie Rich is Richie Rich has everything. He hasn't had to work for anything. He hasn't had any hardship in his life whatsoever. George Bailey has. George Bailey is a real human being who works for everything and faces trials and tribulations just like the rest of us. Richie Rich is only, 10? He hasn't had any of this.
Not just 10, he's a rich 10-year-old.
He has $1 trillion in his bank account, and he's 10. Why does he wish he was never born?
Because he had one bad day.
Oh well, get over it.
And the fucking fascist kid sabotaged him, so he thinks it's all his fault. Even though he knows it's not his fault. He didn't have control of the wheel.
I would pay to see money to see this film remade.
Oh, by the way, all 3 Christmas movies I've covered this month have involved a scene where a Salvation Army Santa gets fucked up in some way. Either someone runs into him, or in this case, the fucking sleigh runs into him, or in the Good Luck Charlie movie, someone grabs his bell and throws it in a random direction. All 3 Christmas movies the randomizer has chosen for us this holiday season have disdain for Salvation Army Santas, and right on.
Yeah.
Fuck the Salvation Army.
On the right side of history right there.
Fucking homophobes.
Fuck your bells.
Amen.
They're annoying as shit when I want to go grocery shopping.
Fuck your bells. Fuck your bells.
My favorite Christmas carol.
I just want to go to the mall. I don't want to hear fuck. I want to just take those things and just launch them.
Oh yeah, they do that in the Good Luck Charlie movie. It's awesome.
Recently, I actually kicked one of those bell ringers like a football, and they disappeared.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, well, thank you.
Onto the horizon, like a little shooting star.
Doing God's work.
Did your friend Tommy Wiseau then judge you for using a football incorrectly?
No, we ended up finding the person I kicked, and then we started playing toss. We threw him back and forth.
Okay, good.
Dave, your question implies that Tommy Wiseau knows how to use a football correctly, and we've seen no proof of that.
That also implies that Tommy Wiseau is strong enough to lift and throw a full-grown adult human being as if they were a simple football.
The guy's got fucking chimp strength. Are you kidding?
Well, he is from my same species, so you know.
Is he?
I knew it!
By the way, Randy, did you ever have any luck getting him off the ceiling?
Oh, he's long gone.
Turns out Tommy Wiseau's species can't survive northeastern climates. He actually froze to death outside my house.
Oh, no.
He's now piled up with Tim Allen in the closet.
People are dying left and right all around us.
Well,
you think maybe we're the problem?
Sure.
Ah, well. Here's another question. Why are the townspeople so eager to forgive Richie when they were so quick to cancel him the day before for fucking up the town? Is it because he was missing? I think most of the town would say, good, go to hell, you rich little twerp.
I have to imagine that what we're not seeing is that while Richie was missing for all those hours, his family just called in all their best PR spinners to make it all go away.
They wrote the orphanage a big-ass check to placate them.
The butler is in a wheelchair. First of all he did was twist his ankle. That doesn't put you in a wheelchair. So he just left this butler there long enough that when they got him, he needed a wheelchair.
I was actually hoping it would be FDR, and then all of a sudden we were in the finale of Annie. I just wanted to see Richie get his new deal for Christmas.
We could all use that.
Also, this movie did the thing every direct-to-video movie does, and ended really abruptly without really any sort of denouement.
Yeah.
Hey folks, just interjecting here to tell you that since we recorded this, I learned that they actually did film a longer ending for this movie, which they cut from the VHS release, and it's not on Disney+, but they did include it when this movie would air on the Fox Family Channel, and you can find it on YouTube. And the extended ending still doesn't include any proper comeuppance for Reggie, but it does involve Richie's parents doing a not nearly as funny as it thinks it is Gift of the Magi parody.
I gave away our yacht to this guy so your mother could have this. It's a Royal Roadster golf cart. It's the only one they ever made. And the inventor didn't really want to sell it to me, so what I did was I convinced him to trade for the yacht so that your mother can now drive on her golf course.
And I traded my golf course for this. Priceless gold anchor from the Spanish Armada.
Oh.
For the yacht your father traded away.
Gone.
Instead, all we get for an ending is all the townspeople singing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas."
And then they added a verse about Santa coming. Santa Claus is coming, and then Santa Claus never shows.
No.
What's the point?
Well, he did show in that dumpster, though, apparently, because that was you.
You know, I still haven't gotten any residuals for this film. I don't know why.
Well, you've got a wishing machine, so you can wish for residuals.
That's true.
I remember the trailer for this movie that was on whatever Warner Brothers VHS it was on. The trailer, first off, told you nothing about the plot. You had no way of knowing that it was going to be an It's a Wonderful Life pastiche. But it did start off with this framing device where in Santa's workshop, you don't see Santa's face, but he picks up a letter and is like, oh, it's Richie Rich's Christmas wish.
So was Richie Rich's Christmas wish to make this movie?
It was to make a fan film of himself.
The kid we see in this film is the real Richie Rich. He had paid Macaulay Culkin to represent him in the previous film, and he kind of got jealous of all the attention, so, you know, in the second one, he had to play him. And it really shows in the performance.
Has this movie given you any ideas about how to run your workshop, Santa?
Well, number one, I'm gonna redo my look so I look like Reggie. Reggie looks like 11 from season 2 of Stranger Things for some reason. I might nix the sleigh and the reindeer altogether, wish on a wish machine so I could just fly everywhere, like swim through the air.
That'd be nice.
I think it'd be pretty cool.
Let me ask you all this. When your movie ended, did the recommendation come up for Home Alone?
Yes.
Yes.
Look, we don't have the original Richie Rich, but if you're watching this, you clearly like Christmas movies and Macaulay Culkin, so...
My recommendation was Miracle on 34th Street.
Well.
Oh, really?
Well, the algorithm probably thinks you hate Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, I do.
Santa, I think your Disney Plus algorithm was like, I need to see a movie with me in it now.
That was a great time filming that back in the 40s.
When you were, what, 3?
No, I was 27.
Of course you were.
Did you have to do that to Natalie Wood years later?
Are you Wow, this just got real dark.
She knew too much. And on that note, I believe it is time to answer that question that has baffled mankind through the ages, namely, what's the attraction? So, Richie Rich's Christmas Wish is obviously going to be the most watched title on Disney Plus once humanity recognizes Reggie as our Lord and Savior. And obviously Disney is going to want to cash in on that. How are they going to do so? Randee.
Christmas at Disney World normally, but they're just going to replace every mention of Walt with Reggie. And they're going to call it Reggie Land.
Dave.
It is actually going to be an entire Christmas overlay of the entire park. Every Christmas ride overlay is now going to specifically be a Richie Rich's Christmas Wish overlay. So instead of Nightmare Before Christmas, Haunted Mansion Holiday is going to turn into the Rich Family Mansion. Instead of It's a Small World Holiday, it's just going to be all the Richville orphans that your boat just careens right through and doesn't give any presents to. And they're also going to do holiday overlays for Pirates of the Caribbean, where they replace the dog with Dollar, who doesn't even bother to pick up the key, and instead the pirates just get bail posted. On the Winnie the Pooh ride, they're going to replace Pooh stuck in the honey tree with Officer Space stuck in the door, but not really stuck in the door. They're going to replace Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln with Great Moments with Mr. Reggie. And, of course, big fucking statues of Reggie everywhere.
And Santa.
They're going to do a holiday overlay for Fantasmic, and they're going to replace Maleficent with Reggie. And Reggie will say,
"Now you will deal with me and all the powers of my wish machine."
And then Mickey says,
"Oh
no!" Well, unfortunately, you're all wrong. What they are going to do is they're going to bring back the Princess for a Day contest from that one episode of Full House, but instead of the genie, it's going to be the wish machine.
I love it.
And you throw yourself into the wishing machine in direct defiance of Sonic the Hedgehog. It's going to spin you around, and if you survive, you get a free churro. That's your wish. They've decided that's what your wish is.
I love it so much.
Final verdict, folks. Is Richie Rich's Christmas Wish a Disney Plus or a Disney Minus? Santa?
You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna say it's a Disney Plus.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's so laughably bad that it could be considered a Christmas version of The Room.
Dave?
I gotta go Disney Minus. It had a few highlights of weirdness and what the fuckery, but for the most part, it was just mediocrely bad. The couple of highlights kept me going, but there was a lot of dull space in the middle there.
Randee?
I want to say that this is so Disney Minus that it's actually Disney Plus.
You gotta choose one or the other, Randee. I'm sorry.
I guess logically minus, but it's one hell of a minus. It's entertainingly Disney Minus.
You know, I gotta go Disney Minus just 'cause not enough Reggie. Not enough Reggie, man. If it had just been the Reggie movie and no protagonist whatsoever, it was just like a Citizen Kane-esque movie that just showed Reggie's rise and fall, that would have been amazing. That would be better than Citizen Kane. I mean, fuck Mank. This is the Citizen Kane homage that needs to be made. As is, though, Reggie was fine in his few evil moments on screen, especially towards the end of the movie, but overall, way too much Richie Rich and not enough Reggie. So, who's got stuff to plug?
I make videos on youtube.com/Doggins, Doggans, and I do a podcast on patreon.com/Doggins, and I write words on twitter.com/Doggins, and I take pictures on instagram.com/Doggins87.
You can follow me at Cosmic Rewind on Twitter. Replace the E with a 3. I am also on the channel KRT Podcast, and I also run No Context Harley Quinn and No Context TGIF, which they have been dead, but I will get to them.
Please leave me anything but cookies and milk this year. I would like to ask for maybe a submarine sandwich, calzones, anything of that sort. I'm a little tired of the sweets, so help a brother out, you know?
And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at Tony Goldmark, and you can also follow this show on Twitter at EFVD Podcast. I've also got a Facebook fan group you can join called Some Jerk with a Fan Club, and I've got a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tony Goldmark, where you can find all 3 seasons of my web series, Some Jerk with a Camera, along with a bunch of other videos about movies and theme parks, and even a few scant episodes of this very podcast. You can find every episode of this podcast at pipedreampodcast.com, as well as all the usual outlets like iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play. If you like what you've been hearing and you'd like to help us out, please subscribe, please leave a review, please give us 5 stars. All that stuff helps us get discovered by the almighty algorithm. If you'd like to help us out even more, you can donate to my Patreon, patreon.com/Tony Goldmark, where if you pledge any amount, even the bare minimum of $1 a month, you get to hear episodes of this podcast one day early on Tuesdays instead of Wednesdays. Special thanks to all my patrons. You don't know how much it means to me, especially in these financially uncertain times. Once again, that's patreon.com/Tony Goldmark. Have a very happy and safe rest of your holiday season, or at least as happy and safe as it possibly can be under the circumstances. And here's to 2021. Let's hope it's significantly better than 2020. I don't see how it could be much worse. We are taking next week off, but we will be back with a brand new episode on January 6th. Dave, you still have a guest choice option. Would you like to come back on our next episode and use it, or would you like to keep it in your back pocket?
Oh, I'm still gonna keep it. I'm saving it for something special.
He's still keeping it in his back pocket, folks. Thanks so much for being on the show, Dave. You can use your guest choice option at a later date. That means on our next episode of Escape from Walt Disney, we will be back to feeding the entire master list of Disney Plus titles into the randomizer. And joining me now is one of my guests on that episode, Madeline May. How you doing, Maddie?
I am great.
Are you ready to read off the randomizer's pick for our next episode?
Why not?
Okay, Smart House, initiate random shuffle mode, please.
Initiating random shuffle mode.
Make a selection.
And the winner is
The Adventures of Huck Finn from 1993.
The Adventures of Huck Finn. Okay, join us on Wednesday, January 6th on Escape from Walt Disney as we cover 1993's The Adventures of Huck Finn.
Come on home where your video's playing. Good times are waiting, it's true. Come where your family is waiting for Walt Disney and you. Walt Disney and you. Walt Disney and you.
If you think it's smart to climb in a dryer, you're really all wet.